This is a standard metrics chart. You can find all kinds of metrics chart on the internet, and some of them will have this kind of look to them, and some of them look a little different. I recommend using this chart because there's something about this chart that is easy. And the thing that's easy about this chart is what you see in this column right here. In this chart, it has everything organized so that if there's a prefix, it's always going to be 1. So what I mean by is there a prefix? Okay, so there's 2 columns. There's the symbol column, and then there's the factor or the base column. So the base is just what you're talking about. If you're talking about grams and trying to get them to a kilogram or a milligram or a centigram, those are all still grams. So the base unit is a gram. And those are the first examples we'll be doing on the left are the grams. So you can use this chart for grams. But if you go ahead and you look over on the right, I've got liters over there on the right. You can use this chart for liters. You can use it for joules. You can use it for, most any unit you can think of. So that's what makes it really helpful. But I'm doing the first column with grams. And so now that I've put a G beside everything, you can see this middle column. It says like there's a T and a G, which represents a teragram or a gigagram. But you can see there's 2 letters, and that's where the prefix comes from, tera, giga, mega. So anything that's got the 2 units, something with a prefix, the value is 1. And then anything that just has the 1 unit, like the gram or liter or whatever, the value is, there's going to be value. So let's look at some examples here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start with the GG, and I'll tell you a shortcut right away. I can look on this left side and I can say, oh, look, I've got 2 letters here. That means that one of them is a prefix. That's a 1. 2 letters, that's a 1. 2 letters, that's a 1. You go ahead and just throw the ones in if I wanted to. But I'm going to go back and I'm going to actually use the columns, or I'm sorry, the rows. So for a gigagram, it's this column, this row right here. And you can see there's a 1 there. And then over to the right, this is the gram, 1 times 10 to the 9th. And then if I go to the deci, here's this one. Again, notice my prefix is a 1. And then 1 times 10 to the minus 1. And then if we go to the this M, now there's a few M's on the chart. So I've got a capital M right here. I've got a lowercase m right here. And then this is actually a Greek mu, which is like an M. But that's a micro. So there are a few micros. Be very careful with your M's. But if it's a capital M like this, it should be obvious. It's this row right here. Whoops, that's a crazy row. And so there's 1 by the prefix and 1 times 10 to the 6th by the gram. So what if I want to use it for something that isn't a gram? Well, I'll just go through and I'll erase out my grams and I can turn it to liters because the right hand set of numbers I've got over here, those are all liter numbers. So I'm just going to put liters all the way down. Liters, liters, liters. And you can see they're all, whoops, that needs to look like an L. And again, nothing really changes about the chart, whether you're talking about liters or grams or joules or anything. And again, that's a micro. Kind of looks almost like a cursive in or something, but that's a micro, nanoliter, and a picoliter. All right, so we'll do these ones right here. And get it in green now. So a liter to a milliliter. So a liter to a milliliter is right here. So I've got a 1, and then the liter is 1 times 10 to the minus 3. And as a little note, like don't let it throw you. Sometimes the milliliter might be listed on the right or on the left. This chart, you are just doing the chemistry thing of looking for where the unit is. So even though this one appears on the right and in this chart it's on the left, what matters is the number that's right beside that unit. So there's a 1 beside the milliliter, and then this crazy number here is beside the liter. And then picoliter, again, you could have gone through ahead of time and just thrown 1s in for the things that have prefixes. So picoliter is this section right here. And so that's 1 times 10 to the minus 12th. And then the teraliter is at the very top. 1 and 1 times 10 to the 12th. And you might also be asking yourself, so why, like right here, are we even doing 1 times 10 to the, like, isn't it just 10 to the 12th? Okay. So we've got numbers coming up that won't be a 1. So be aware, we've got some numbers coming up. But this is also an opportunity for you to practice using that EXP key that was talked about in the calculator section. So to use the EXP key, you would type in the first number, the number that's to the left of the times sign. So you'd put that in your calculator, and then you push. It'll either be EXP, sometimes it might be EE, sometimes it might be times 10 to the X. Again, you've got to know your calculator for this. And then you just write the exponent in. So the exponent to that is 1 and 2. It saves time, and this is a fantastic practice to get into because sometimes students will forget parentheses when they're in the denominator. And using this, it means that the calculator understands that this number goes with times 10 to the X, and it also goes with this number. It pulls all those together and knows all those numbers go together. So that's the metrics chart.